get on with business. There's our 359. That's the number of people who have been affected in one way or the other in the Medina atomic gas explosion that happened on Saturday. They were identified after a 2-day assessment of the damage caused by the explosion. Those identified are different from those mentioned in a government statement released on Sunday. The death toll remains at 7, with more than 130 people injured so far. 2 critically. We'll hear from the NADMO director for Greater Accra shortly, but first let's hear from some victims who turned up at the scene of the disaster to be counted as part of the NADMO assessment.
The reason why I'm here that the Saturday where the problem happened of the fire burning, so and the night I tried to come and watch, but it's too much of fire and many of things. So the morning time I come back to watch my farm around the Legon, my everything, my plantain, my potato, my seed, all burn. So I come to lodge the complaint to the police so that maybe it can help us to get what we can plan for this season small.
I'm actually back ni kun e adwuma of filling station obi. Si anope me dey abofra no ko school no frɛ me say ni kun ne kan won ewu no hu bi ntimi be hwehwɛ ma me ba ma be chima bisebise ma ma hu say ɔno so ka ho ampati e frɛ boss no ne say me mbra ha say police station ha na ye be report na me twɛn no wa ha ti me me pɛ say police fo no ye ma me say sania owo na ba no ye nim say obɛka ho bisanti ye mo ayo nti ye be sere bebre say police fo no so be den bɔbɔ modin aboa ɔmom gu mo kyere hɔ na ye sie no Kwame Boache no ye hyeda nim na chi e wo Kumasi hɔ enti me Kumasi fo mo hwɛ me de ane na me pɛ sɛ me ka kyerɛ mo sɛ mo ba Kwame Boache no waka baabi wawu ne mo kyerɛ wo 37 enti mo bɔ modena mo bla atom junction na mo bebisa na mo hu akyire kwan ne hu kwan ye bɛfa so ma police fo na boa ya ma ye sie no mesra mo bebre na asɛm wie de ano onyan enti mo bɔ moden bra.
That's someone who has gone to, look for one of the relatives, and she understands at this point that he happens to be one of the 7 who died, and his name is Kwame Boache. What she is essentially doing is calling on the relatives in Kumasi, because that's where the gentleman hails from, to just know that their relative Kwame Boache is one of the people who died in that unfortunate incident at Atomic Junction. She's actually asking the police to help them retrieve the bodies at the 37 military hospital so they can perform the necessary funeral rite. Well, NADMO still says that they are intent to complete a full report and present that to Cabinet ahead of that crucial Cabinet meeting tomorrow.
As of yesterday night, when we closed, the report that we have from the post was about 181 persons who have come to register. We also sent some of our teams into the various homes and the hostels around. That's Legon, the hostels in Legon, and then Presec. But even the Presec school, they've asked us to come again because there are some new developments. So I've sent the team to Presec so that we can have a more bird's eye view and make sure that we capture everybody as much as possible. We are also preparing our reports so that we can send to our national office for onwards transmission to Apex Ministry. So we're doing all of that. I think the ones that came from the homes, about 178, right?
Yeah, 178.
178 thereabout from the various homes. And then about 44 households have also been affected. We'll send our reports in the national world. As you're aware, even His Excellency the President has called a cabinet meeting. I'm sure you're aware of that. So definitely whatever will be done, the government will let all of us know, and then we can take it from that point. But I can also assure you, from our point of our level, we will also be preparing ourselves, because psychologically we need to, those who have come to register, we're speaking to some of the doctors. We're going to see how to help people psychologically, because even the team we are working with here, because we've been around since Saturday till now, and even that we can still feel the effects of the environment. And I think that it's imperative that we have some kind of a psychological thing work done And that, from our level, we're going to take that step up. So we've been working as a team, ourselves, the NADMO, the Ghana Police, the Ghana Fire Service, the CID, the BNI, ambulance service, the NPA, National Petroleum Authority, and we all came to a consensus that we were going to recordon the area. At a certain point, a certain area had been cordoned off. So we decided, because there must be a flow of traffic, because if we cannot keep the traffic still going on and all of that. A certain part 2 has been given back to the assembly. I forgot the assembly also as partners, and they've also been involved. So the assembly is taking over some parts, and they've started doing work. This morning they came with the YEA sanitation team and Zoom Lion to do some kind of work here. So some amount of investigation would be going on, because maybe soil samples of debris that they need to work on it will still be going on for at least next 2 weeks. And even after that, they will then still have to, if they still need to do some further investigations, there is no reason why we should rush. We just need to make sure that people can flow, and then the other aspects would also have to roll.
Meanwhile, corporate bodies have started responding to government's appeal for support for the hospitals as the pressure brought by the Atomic Junction explosion increases. Yesterday, 37 military hospitals reported a shortage of drugs and other consumables in the wake of the numbers being treated for burns. Even before Cabinet comes out with that report, we're also learning of some gas explosion at a bakery in the central region town of Mankessim. On the line now is Richard Kojo-Nyako. Hello, Richard.
Yeah, hello, Gifty.
Bring us up to speed. What are the details of this explosion?
Well, around 4:15 a.m. This morning, there was this compound house at Mankessim, and the compound house, 2 rooms are used for bakery, and so they use gas to supply fire in order for them to undertake that activity. So in the morning, they suspected that one of the gas cylinders was leaking, but they ignored it. They said that, well, it's normal. So they went ahead, and then it caught fire.
Okay.
So people that were passing by shouted for help. They called the fire service. The fire service personnel went to the scene, and they ensured that the fire was put out. There was no explosion of any sort that happened there. People helped the fire service, and they put out the fire. So there wasn't any explosion. There were some minor burns in the room, things that were used for the baking or for bakery. These things were the ones that were burnt. But beyond that, nothing really happened. No one was hurt, and there were no any substantial damages that were caused as a result of the fire that happened this morning at Mankessim.
All right, thank you very much, Richard Kojo-Nyako, with that update there. Very soon I'll be taking you through the sorts of fire accidents or fire-related accidents that we've had in this country. We're starting from, we'll be going around the regions and bringing you statistics of the cause of fire, which year, so you have an idea or a bigger picture of what we're dealing with. In the meantime, the Ghana National Fire Service says that report on last Saturday's gas explosion will be concluded and submitted to the Interior Ministry by the close of this week. Now, the report details the cause of the explosion, which has left 7 people dead and over 100 injured. It will also focus on immediate actions to be taken and how lives and properties will be safeguarded in and around the premises of gas and fuel stations. Yes, Public Director of Public Relations at the Ghana National Fire Service, Prince Billy Anaglate.
We are close to submitting of our report. We have done all that it takes. All information regarding the investigation actually have been taken during the firefighting. And we were fortunate that a day before yesterday, we had the opportunity to talk to the owner of the gas filling station We also talked to the tanker driver who was discharging before the hose ruptured. And we talked to the attendant who was also assisting him in the discharge of the gas before the incident occurred. They took us around the premises where we picked few information, intelligent information on the ground. We determined where some of those hoses that they were using were, and the position of their dispensers and all that. They were actually the information that we were trying to have before we be able to conclude on our investigation. Now that we have gotten those information, by the close of this week, we should be able to submit our report.
So, Mr. Anaglate, preliminary investigations you've done so far, what could have been the cause of this explosion? Because you ruled out the fact that it could have been started by that kebab seller. So, preliminary investigations, what must have been the cause of the fire?
Yeah, I don't think I'm in a position to say exactly what actually caused it, but we have all that information we are able to pin on the exact source of the fire and to determine what actually the cause of the fire is. But yes, with the kebab seller, we said that does not mean that we are saying that the gas leakage could have picked a fire from the kebab seller. But with all other technical assessment and the factors on the ground, it is not from the kebab seller's point of view.
It's not from the kebab seller, but we don't know where exactly it started from.
That is why we are going to submit our report with the exact cause of that fire. But then I don't think it is appropriate for me to come out now and to talk about that.
So in that report, there's the exact cause in there, would you say?
Yes, exactly. That the cause of the fire will definitely be mentioned.
But as part of measures that you were putting in place as a fire service, we know that you were saying that before any fire attendant or any gas station would want to disperse fuel or something of the sort, you would want fire service attendants to be there. Are you resourced enough to be able to handle this?
Yes, we are. This has been the situation years back before people have relent on that particular exercise, and we are resourced in the sense that it is not all the gas filling stations that will be discharging at the same time that we would be struggling to have resource or personnel to be there to do it. As of when any gas filling station want to discharge or offload a gas, and they should just inform the local fire station within the area. Then they will be able to assist them by giving them a fire cover. So we are believing that since everybody is trying to ensure, and the fire service is determined to see an end to these preventable fires or disasters that we'll be having, we will do everything within our domain. We will try to maximize the resources that we have to ensure that effectively and efficiently we discharge our duty to the expectation of the public.
PR for the Ghana National Fire Service, Prince Billy Anaglate, speaking with my colleague Emefa Pau earlier today. Meanwhile, authorities at the 37 military hospital are appealing for urgent supply of consumables for the treatment of victims of the explosion, as their stocks have been depleted in the last few days. Some 26 of the 40 victims who were sent there for treatment, having sustained various degrees of injury, have since been discharged. There are, however, 14 more, with 2 of them said to be in critical condition. Commanding officer of the hospital, Colonel Yeboah Ejapon, made the appeal when officials of a Chinese firm, Sunda International, presented relief items and cash worth 40,000 cedis for the upkeep of the victims.
Materials we've brought are actually the ones that we need because some of the patients are burnt, sustained some burns, and we need cleaning materials for them. We are very happy that you heard and you've come to help those who are still on the wards. And some of the items would also be given to those who have even been discharged home. We would like to use this opportunity, first of all, to thank your company, Sunda and Trifoid, for this kind gesture. And we would like also to use this opportunity to appeal to other corporate institutions that we are still in need of certain consumables. Apart from this, we also need IV fluids and some antibiotics for the patients. And as we are aware. Some can be staying here, especially the burns patients. Some might stay here for about 6 months to 1 year or 2 years. So we will still be very happy if corporate bodies will come to our aid.
So that is the 37 military hospital appealing for support, and we understand that corporate bodies in Ghana have responded to that call. Here is Archibald Kobna, director of the NADMO Accra, speaking about what kind of donations they've received so far.
We actually kind of send out information that the hospitals needed some drugs because of the numbers of victims that were involved, and so we made an appeal to pharmaceutical companies to assist, and I'm glad to say that they have responded positively. It's burns, we have infections, and then to manage pain relievers. So Tobinco Pharmacy brought some drugs which we have distributed. They brought it 3 days ago. I think Joy FM was here that day, so you took a live coverage of it. And then we sent it the following morning. So I'll give you the documents because we for transparency purposes, so that you see that we sent it to Reach Hospital, 37, Legon Hospital, and then also Pentecost Hospital. So these 4 major hospitals, because the other smaller ones treated and discharged almost all the victims that went there. So these 4 hospitals were the hospitals that we had to spread and who benefited from the drugs that came. Yesterday also, East Cantonment Pharmaceuticals also called us. Tobinco's drugs were worth about 10,000 and over. 10,000 Ghana cedis, yes, more than above 10,000. And then East Cantonment also has given us drugs worth about 27,000 Ghana cedis. So yesterday we had to go and take delivery of them, and we needed, we are going to get it sent to the hospitals, so that you are aware and everybody is aware of their kind gesture and their quick response to help, because some of the victims who even have been discharged would have to still be going to the hospital back and forth for treatment. So they will need a lot of these drugs. They have some IV that is for drip and other ones for injection and all of that. In both the one that we had from Tobinco and the ones that we had from East Cantonment. So once the media is aware and everybody is aware, we'll dispatch them to the various hospitals.
All right, so let me give you some information, some graphics on what we are looking at in terms of disasters, national disasters that we've had to deal with as a country. Let's start with the Greater Accra region. So there you have it. In the Greater Accra region, we're looking at Ashaiman, to be specific, and the year is 2011. We're looking at 2011. There was a gas explosion. 1 person died. That is for the Greater Accra region. We're still in the Greater Accra region. Let's move on to some other location in the Greater Accra region. And there you have it. We're looking at the Atomic Junction where we just had this last week. Yes, last week, and the year is 2017. The cause, of course, is a gas explosion. We're looking at about 7 deaths in that as well. Away from that, we're looking at Dansuman, still in the Greater Accra region. The Dansuman in 2015, the gas explosion there as well, and we had 2 people dying. Labadi in the Greater Accra region, 2016. The cause of the disaster, gas explosion. 12 people died in 2016 in Labadi. Nungwa was still in Accra, and in Nungwa in 2014, there was another gas explosion. 1 person died. Was still in Accra, this time in Tema. The year is 2010. There was a gas explosion there as well. 1 person died. In Tema again, 4 people died in 2014 through a gas explosion. Tulip Inn Hotel in 2017, this year, there was a gas explosion at Tulip Inn. 4 people died. Moving on from the Greater Accra region, let's look at what happened in the Ashanti region. And in Ashanti region, we're starting from Asukwa. In Asukwa, in the year 2007, there was a gas explosion. 3 people died. Actually, in the Ashanti region again, and this year is 2008, there was a gas explosion. Fortunately, there were no deaths recorded. But 2008, right after what happened in 2007, in Asukwa, was still in Kumasi in the Ashanti region, and we're looking at Kumasi this time around. In 2015, there was a gas explosion again and 2 people died. Now, away from Accra and the Ashanti region, let's look at what happened in the Central region, and in which year, what caused it. We're looking at 2015, and in 2015, we're looking at what happened in Kaswa. There was a gas explosion which killed 2 people. And we're looking at Winneba in the Central region. Winneba in 2009, there was a gas explosion again where about 7 people died. And we're moving away from the Central region to the Eastern region. We're looking at about 1 person dying in 2012. The same cause, gas explosion. And this was in Koforidua, to be specific. Krobo Girls Senior High School is our next stop, and this happened in 2013. Fortunately, on that one as well, there were no deaths. But of course, some destructions happened there. And away from that, we go to the northern region, and we stop at Bali in the northern region, and we're looking at the year 2016. There was a gas explosion there as well, 6 people. So that's to give you an idea of what we're dealing with. There's a trend of gas explosion through 2007 up until 2017. Does it mean that we're not learning anything at all? Of course, the discussion will keep going on and on.